Hey guys, my name is Mike and welcome to this bonus lesson on Google SEO 101 and how to get more Google traffic to your blog with SEO. So just a very quick lesson outline and what I plan to go over in this video. So just a quick intro about my story kind of and how I got started with SEO. I'm going to go over how you're probably feeling about SEO right now if you're a blogger, 5 reasons you should be focusing on SEO, and then I'm going to go into 5 keyword research tips to get started. This is kind of be a little bit of a deep dive. This is not going to be some high level overview keyword research tips. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail and show you how to do some stuff. So just a quick intro about myself. I started with SEO about 4 years ago as a way to make extra money. I was working full time. I still work full time. My wife and I had just gotten married, and I was just looking for a way to make a little side hustle. And I had read that blogging was a way to do this, and that SEO in particular was a good way to drive traffic to your blog. And I didn't start out, let's say, on the right foot. So one of the very first blogs that I made is this image right here. So this is actually an image of one of the very first websites that I made. It was this kind of fitness review website. It was really, really not great quality. I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. The content was not very good. The backlinks that I was building was not very good. And, it was just not a very good website. The thing is, I ended up taking a lot of shortcuts with my SEO, with my content was just not very good. I didn't really know what I was doing, but at the time, Google was just not a very sophisticated search engine, and you could kind of game the system. And so within that first year, I actually hit $5,000 per month. So this was actually Christmas or December of 2014. This was maybe 10 to 12 months into that fitness site. And again, my content was not very good. My links were not very good. My SEO was frankly really bad. But at that time, it didn't really matter because Google could easily be gamed. And I just want to show you that even with a site that was not that good, I had hit $5,000 a month within my first year. The thing is, Google eventually got smarter. Again, that was 2014, and Google is continuously improving their algorithm. They're getting smarter. They're catching up to these kind of shady SEO tactics. And then one night I went to check my traffic, and you can see this is now, we're in kind of mid to the end of 2015. I was kind of cruising along, and then I got one Google penalty here. You can see my traffic kind of dropped in half. And then kind of between August and September of 2015, I got a massive Google penalty, and all of my traffic and all my earnings disappeared overnight. But the thing that this taught me was that SEO was a real thing, right? It could work. It could drive traffic to your blog if you know what you're doing. And I was determined to make this SEO thing work. And so what I ended up doing was I started a new blog in early 2016, and I decided to do SEO the right way. I would kind of learn from my mistakes and do things differently. And then within my first 7 months of launching that site, I just was on this screenshot here. So this is July of 2016. So we're 7 months into this website. And I had my first $2,000 month. This is a screenshot from my Amazon affiliate account, which is kind of how I monetize a lot of my blogs. And so we're 7 months in, and I had hit my first $2,000 month. And then for 2017, so the next year, my SEO really started to pick up, and I had hit, so this is my traffic from Google Analytics. You'll look at last year. So this is all of 2017, and I had 1.1 million page views. And the thing about that is that I know for a lot of Pinterest bloggers, that might not sound like a lot of traffic, because I know Pinterest bloggers can get some really high page views. But the thing about these 1.1 million page views is that 88% of that traffic, and I thought I had that screenshot up, but I don't. 88% of that traffic was actually from Google. So you're looking at, this is actually users and not unique page views, but it's around the same amount. It's almost 1.1 million users as well. And you can see here, my social media was actually only 6% of this traffic. The rest of my traffic was from Google. 88% of my traffic was from SEO. It was not from Pinterest. And all of that Google traffic allowed me that year to earn almost $96,000. So again, this is my Amazon affiliate account. The niche that I was in, and I actually ended up selling this site, but the niche that I was in the kind of the outdoors niche, the backpacking niche. So you can see that it peaks in the summer, and then as the weather, was a little colder, it goes down. But so this is kind of the peak here with the seasonality. But I made $96,000 in pretty much passive income with one site, and 88% of that traffic, again, was from SEO. So I just wanted to give you a little background on kind of what I'm all about and how I build my websites out with SEO and how it can be a really profitable strategy if you know what you're doing. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably Pinterest bloggers. You might not be that interested in SEO right now, and maybe some of these things do sound familiar, right? So you're a Pinterest blogger, and you're probably getting about 90% of your traffic from Pinterest. And even though you might not be into SEO, you're probably generally aware of SEO. You know it's important. A lot of people are talking about it, but you really have no idea where to get started. And what's kind of maybe giving you trouble is you think SEO is this really, really complicated process or this really complicated technique, and that it can require some expensive tools or some expensive software or maybe a monthly budget even. So it can be an expensive way to build traffic is a big misconception that I see. And then, kind of on the other hand, you're aware of SEO, and maybe you've seen some other bloggers out there, maybe in a Facebook group or something, who's having some success with SEO, and maybe you're intrigued by it. So why is Google traffic so valuable? And one of those reasons is that it's extremely targeted traffic. So when you think about it, when you think about you going into Google, you doing a Google search, a user searching in Google is actively looking for information and or a solution to their problems. This is unlike Pinterest, where people are kind of just casually browsing, and then if something happens to hit them in their face and they find it interesting, okay, they'll click on it and maybe they'll read it. It's really the other way around with Google, where you are actively going onto google.com, you're actively typing a keyword into Google because you're actively looking for a solution to your problem. And what that means is, as a blogger, if you can create a post around that topic, right, around solving someone's problem, and if you can rank that post in Google, then you can pitch them an affiliate offer or make a sale. An example that I like to use, I don't think I have this link open either, right? So this is a great piece of SEO content. It's a great piece of affiliate content, really. So this is a website. It's a product review website called The Wirecutter. They were actually acquired by the New York Times, I think, last year, but they didn't start off as a New York Times website. And what this site does is they do these really in-depth product reviews. I mean, if I just kind of scroll down here, this is probably 6,000 to 8,000 words long, right? And this entire post is about non-stick pans, which kind of sounds ridiculous. But if you think about it from a user perspective, let's say that you like to cook and maybe one of your pans is really old, and so you need to buy a new non-stick pan. But before you hop onto Amazon or Target or wherever to buy your pan, you want to read some reviews, or you want to read some opinions on what other people are saying. What is the best non-stick pan that I can buy? So you hop onto Google and you type in the search best nonstick pan. Now, if you're the wire cutter, what they've done here is they've created this really good piece of targeted content. They know people are actively searching for this keyword, and it might not be a problem, but it's they are looking for a solution. They're in the market for a pan, and they want to know what the best one is to buy. And so what the Wirecutter has done is they've designed an entire piece of content around this keyword, around this problem. They've provided a lot of valuable information, and as you can see here, these are all affiliate links, right? That's an affiliate link. This entire box is filled with affiliate links, and this is how they monetize their site. It's all affiliate marketing. It's all Google SEO, and when people land on their site, they monetize with affiliate marketing. And this site does an estimated 12 million visitors per month. And if we go to the sources here, we can see that 62% of that is from Google and only 3% is from social media. So this is a great example of a piece of targeted content that is designed to rank highly in Google. Okay, so the second reason why Google traffic is so valuable is that Google traffic really is passive. I mean, once you're ranking in Google, there's not much maintenance that you have to do to make your traffic stick. Once you write your post, once it's ranking in Google, maybe you can go back to it once a year to update it to make sure all of the information that you have is current. But other than that, you're not doing any work on that content. So this is kind of the complete opposite of Pinterest, right? You're not worrying about going into Pinterest and pinning daily, or using a scheduler like Tailwind or Board Booster, which just got shut down. You don't have to worry about actively joining these group boards, actively creating new pins for your content. You publish your content once, it ranks in Google, and that's it. The third reason why Google traffic is so valuable is that it really is mostly consistent. It's not entirely consistent, but it is mostly consistent. So unlike Pinterest's algorithm, which is fluctuating all of the time, Google's algorithm is much older, it's much more mature, it's much steadier and predictable, and so that means that your traffic is much more consistent. And we're going to get into this a little bit, but if you're publishing really good content and you're building some backlinks, that's kind of the recipe to getting steady rankings. And this is good because you have to worry about your content, right? Your blog, which is what you should be worrying about, and you're not worrying about the algorithm like you have to do with Pinterest. The fourth reason why I think Google traffic is so valuable, frankly, if you're a Pinterest blogger, you can diversify your traffic. So if all of your traffic is from Pinterest, you're one algorithm update away from devastation, really. I mean, if you get 90% of your traffic from Pinterest and they ban your account or they change their algorithm and your traffic tanks, I mean, you're in a lot of trouble. So focusing on SEO allows you to diversify your traffic sources so you don't keep all of your eggs in one basket. And then the fifth reason why you should really be considering Google traffic is because most bloggers totally ignore SEO. And the truth is, this may sound a little harsh, but many bloggers, when it comes to SEO, are totally clueless. And this leads to them not even trying. They don't even bother with SEO. They don't bother with Google. And this inaction on their part is your opportunity. So if your competitors are not even trying to rank in Google, if they don't know anything about SEO, that gives you a really big leg up. And so this image that I pasted here, I think this was a comment on it was a comment on a guest post that I wrote, and it's just the typical blogger reaction to SEO. So this person is giving me a really nice compliment that my guest post was so helpful, but she goes on to say, SEO can be scary and daunting, but this article made SEO seem doable. And what she's really saying is that it's so scary and so daunting to her and so many other bloggers that they don't even consider it doable. They don't even try. And this really can give you an advantage if you can start to get into SEO. So what I want to do now is dive into some keyword research tips. I wanted to keep this both beginner friendly, but I didn't want it to be broad and high level and vague and have things like include your keyword in your title or optimize your images. I wanted to give you some actionable, concrete tips. So that's what we're going to go through right now. So the first tip that I want to go over is finding your competitors' top keywords. So when we're talking about keyword research, you probably know what that is. It's you're looking for keywords that you can write an article about so that when you type your article, you know that people are searching for that keyword in Google. And the way that most people do this is they use some kind of keyword tool like Keyword Finder or maybe Ubersuggest, and they start brainstorming in their mind all of these keywords that maybe might be a good idea to write a post about. And I don't recommend doing that type of keyword research. What I like to do is what I have up here is to find your competitors' keywords and then write content based on those keywords. So I'm going to walk you through a quick example. So in this example, so pretend that we have a blog. It's in the productivity niche, right? And so what I want you to do is head over to semrush.com. And what you can do is you can sign up for a free account. So they have these paid plans, but they also have a free account. It is limited. I think they only allow 10 searches per day. But if you're just getting started, that's totally fine. It'll just get you familiar with the tool. So head over there. Head over there and, head over to SEMrush, create your free account. And so what we're going to do, again, so we have a blog in the productivity niche. And what we're going to do is I'm going to input a competitor URL in the search bar. So pretend that we have a brand new blog. It's in the productivity niche. And I know that this site, right, littlecoffeefox.com, this is a blog in the productivity niche. Also, they get pretty good traffic. It's a really good site. It's one of the more popular sites in the productivity niche. So I know that if I were starting a productivity blog, that this would be one of my competitors. They're probably ranking for some keywords. I mean, they actually get really good traffic. Over 300,000 visitors per month, according to SimilarWeb, and 70% of that is from Google search. So they're clearly ranking for a lot of stuff. So the idea behind this is I want to see what keywords this blog is ranking for. So I'm just going to grab their URL from the top. We're going to go into SEMrush again. After you create your free account, you'll be in the dashboard. Plug in the URL and hit search. So I'm kind of going back and forth between the slides and SEMrush. But what we want to do is we want to click the View Full Report under the top organic keywords. So we hit search. I realize there's a lot of information on this page. Don't worry about it. For our purposes, we just want to scroll down a little bit. We're going to get to this section. It says Top Organic Keywords. And then hit the button View Full Report. So that's going to load for a second. All right, so if you scroll down a little bit here, we're going to come to this table. And this table contains a gold mine of information. So what it's showing us here is that for this website, right, littlecoffeefox.com, we've established, and I should have mentioned this earlier, this Chrome extension that I'm using, it's called SimilarWeb. What they do is they estimate, and I stress the word estimate. It's not 100% accurate, but it will give you a decent idea of how much traffic a website is getting. And if you click on the sources tab, it will tell you how much of that traffic is coming from Google. So we know that this is a competitor of ours in the productivity niche. We know they're getting over 300,000 visitors per month, and we know that 70% of that traffic is coming from Google. So what SEMrush is showing us down here is that these are the top keywords that this blog is ranking for in Google. And the top keywords that are giving them traffic. So for example, for the keyword bullet journal, this site is ranking number 3 and it's giving them 28% of their traffic. This keyword habit tracker, right? So this site is ranking number 1, and it's giving them 7% of their traffic, and so on and so forth. So what SEMrush is going to do on the free account, it's going to give you 10 keywords, right? And it's going to block out all of this other stuff because you're on the free account. But that's totally fine, because what's important here is that SEMrush is giving you the 10 most popular keywords. So we know these are the 10 best keywords for this blog. So if you have a blog in the productivity niche and you're wondering what to write about, these would be some pretty good ideas, right? So bullet journal supplies, you could probably write a post about that. If you're a productivity blogger, you could write a post about bullet journal supplies. And what's great about this is that you know that one of your competitors is getting really good traffic for that keyword. So you don't have to guess about your keywords, is kind of the main point that I'm driving here, is that we know what keywords are working well for this competitor of ours. We don't have to go onto a keyword research tool and start brainstorming random keywords that we think might work, because we know by using SEMrush, we know by plugging in one of our competitors that these keywords are working for them. And so we can write our own content. And again, our content will be unique. It will be original. It will be our own content. Just because we're going after the same keyword doesn't mean we're going to copy the content. Obviously, I want to be clear. But what it does mean is that we can target these same keywords, build a better piece of content, and also get traffic for these keywords. I hope that was clear, but it's a really important point, and it's a really good way to do keyword research, is to just reverse engineer what your competitors are ranking for. All right, so that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is that to find even more keyword ideas, what I like to do is use forums. So you guys know what a forum is. It's where people, it's like Reddit or what's the other one? Quora, right? Where people ask questions and other users, it's user-generated content. And forums are a great source for keyword ideas. So let's use another example. Let's do a different niche this time. Let's pretend that we have a blog, or maybe we're a brand new blogger and we're in the pregnancy niche. So if you just did a Google search for pregnancy forums, what is going to come up, and I don't have the Google search here, but so this is a pregnancy forum that ranks either 1 or 2 or 3, right? So if you do a Google search for pregnancy forums, this is going to be one of the top results. And if you just scroll down this forums, so there's 2 ways that you can do this. The first is you can just simply browse around, right? So we have a section here. It's called Hot Topics. And if you kind of just scroll around, I haven't looked at this in preparation for this video, but let's just quickly see if we can find anything that we could maybe write a post about. Gender roles, maybe not. All right, here's one: Ferber method success stories. So if you're a parent, you probably know what the Ferber method is. It's kind of a cry it out sleep method. So right, so this person is writing a post about the Ferber method. So it's kind of getting a baby to sleep, and you have them cry it out. Now, this could be a pretty good keyword idea to write for a post, right? If you're a pregnancy blogger or you're a mommy blogger, you could probably write a post around the Ferber method, or even Ferber method success stories. And you can jot down this keyword idea in a spreadsheet if you wanted to. And you could kind of keep scrolling around to see if any other thing jumped out. For example, music for baby in the womb. That could be an interesting blog post that you could write about. And you know that people are talking about it. That's the whole point of the forums here. People are asking about these types of things. And look at all of these people that are giving advice, right? So this is clearly a topic that people are interested in. So that's a manual way to do that. It's simply scrolling through and looking for ideas that might be interesting. There's another way to do this, and then there's a different keyword research tool. It's called Ahrefs I will say this is a paid tool. There is no free trial. There is a 7-day, $7 trial, and I'm not suggesting that you sign up. But the reason that I'm showing you this is just so you know that there are tools that can make this easier, and maybe at some point down the line, who knows, maybe you'll want to sign up for it. Maybe not. It's not a big deal, but I just want to show you the capability of some of these tools. So remember, before we were kind of looking for ideas manually, but what you can do is you can take this URL, right? So it's the forums. If we go back, take the URL. We're in Hrefs, so we're in this tab called Site Explorer. I've already pasted it in here, and I'm going to hit search. And this is going to work somewhat similarly to SEMrush. And if we just go to top pages right down here, let it load for a second, and this is going to show us something similar. So Ahrefs is showing us, so for this subdomain, right, the forums subdomain on what to expect, this is showing us the top pages on that forum that are bringing in the most traffic, right? So this page about Zulily brings in the most traffic from Google on the entire forum. That's what this is showing, right? And it's showing that the top keyword for this page is actually Zulily, and that this site ranks number 3. What's great about this is that we can scroll down here, and this, again, is similar to what we did in SEMrush. We know that these are keywords that are bringing this site traffic. And so if we see anything that catches our eyes, we could potentially write, and again, I haven't looked at this ahead of time. I probably should have, so here's an example. This is a keyword. I don't know what this means, to be honest with you. Heavy implantation bleeding, but 1,600 people are searching for this every month. So it's clearly a topic that if you're a mommy blogger or a pregnancy blogger, that you could probably write about, right? In this forum, this post right here, this ranks number 1 for the keyword heavy implantation bleeding. And what's important to know about forums is that generally they're really easy to outrank in Google. So if you created a piece of content on your blog that was really well written and it contained a lot of good information, you could potentially outrank this site just because this forum content is not good content, right? This is just a random user-generated couple of paragraphs, and then there's just a bunch of random responses. So this is not really good content in Google's eyes, just because it's all over the place. So if you had a blog in the pregnancy niche and you created a really good blog post, around heavy implantation bleeding, you could probably outrank this forum. And again, what's good about looking at our competitors, in this case a forum, is that we know that this keyword is bringing them a decent amount of traffic, right? It's their 20th best post on this site. And let's be clear, this is a massive site. It's 8 million visitors per month. So to say that it's the 20 most popular post is actually saying a lot. So that's just another thing that you can do. Again, you don't have to sign up for Ahrefs by any stretch of the imagination. You can just manually browse these forums. You can just do a Google search for, if your niche was yoga, you could do yoga forums. If your niche was the keto diet, you could do keto forums, and just hop into the forums and see what people are talking about. And it will give you some ideas for blog posts. And again, here, add any relevant keywords or ideas and just add them to a spreadsheet so that you can keep track of what you find. All right, so the third tip that I want to go over is how to target the right keyword. So, in the last 2 tips, we discovered how to find some keywords that might be good for you to write blog posts about. But just because you find a keyword doesn't mean you should just start automatically writing a post without knowing what you should be writing about. And so this first bullet point I have here is that you should always consider the searcher intent behind a keyword. And what that simply means is that when someone is Googling a keyword in Google, what are they expecting to find in the search? And the best way to explain this is with an example. So let's use another niche for this example. Let's pretend that we have a blog in the personal finance niche, right? And let's say you were doing some keyword research. Maybe it was in a form, maybe it was an SEMrush, and you see a keyword called car payments, right? And I don't have it up on my screen, but I was looking at this before. 10,000 people search for this keyword per month. And let's say that you find it and you're thinking, oh, that's a really good keyword. I could write a blog post about, the top 10 ways you can reduce your car payment. Okay, and you're probably thinking, oh, that's a really good blog post idea. It targets the keyword. It's a really good keyword. People are searching for it. I'm a personal finance blogger, so I definitely want to write that post about the top 10 tips to reduce your car payment. Now, the problem with this is the searcher intent behind this keyword. When someone is searching for car payments in Google, what do you think they're expecting to find? So if we go into Google, I've already run this search, right? So car payments, and this keyword tool, which I have installed, is saying it's actually 12,000 searches per month. But let's actually look in Google and see what Google is deciding is the best content. We have a car payment calculator, auto loan calculator, car loan payment calculator, auto loan calculator, car payment calculator, auto loan calculator. I think you get the idea. Every result on the first page for the keyword car payments is a calculator, right? This is what the user expects to find when they search for this keyword. So if you were to write a blog post, right, targeting this keyword that was, with a piece of content that says the 10 best ways to reduce your car payment, you're never going to rank in Google for that keyword because you haven't considered the searcher intent. The searcher or the person searching in Google for this keyword doesn't want to see a blog post. They want to access a calculator. And Google knows this by analyzing all of the data they have. And that's why they've decided that for this keyword, you need to have a calculator in order to rank for this keyword. And so that's what I mean by searcher intent. I know maybe it sounds maybe a little obvious, but it's important that you understand the search intent of a keyword before you decide to write about that. Now you're probably wondering, well, that's great. How do I determine the searcher intent? And it's really simple. All you do is Google your keyword before you actually sit down to write your post. So if you were that personal finance blogger and you saw this keyword car payments in a keyword tool and you thought to yourself, maybe that could be a really good blog post idea, all you would have to do before writing your post is just Google your keyword and see what Google is telling you is the type of content that they want to see, is the type of content that the searcher wants to see, and it will give you an idea of what type of content you should be creating. And if you don't have the ability to create a calculator, from scratch, like most bloggers don't, then this is a keyword that you're not going to go after. So I realize maybe a subtle point, but it really is important that when you're sitting down to write your content, when you're sitting down to target a keyword, make sure you Google that keyword and see what Google is telling you the searcher intent is. All right, let's go into tip number 4. So this is all about keyword competition. So again, let's say we have a really good keyword. It's bullet journal supplies. I actually think I'm going to use a different example in this slide here, but we need to analyze our competition before writing a post. So just because we have a keyword idea, we know that the searcher intent is good. We know that the searcher intent wants a blog post, for example. We still need to analyze the competition and see who else is ranking. Because when you think about it in Google, when you type a search into Google, there's only 10 results on page 1. Google can only show you 10 results. And so if you're not ranking in the top 10, you're basically non-existent in Google. If you're ranking on page 2 or 3 or page 4, it's completely irrelevant. You need to be ranking on page 1 to get traffic. But if all of the other sites on the first page of Google are really high authority competitors, in other words, if they're really big websites and you can't compete with them, then you shouldn't go after that keyword really in the first place. So we need to analyze the competition before writing our post. And how do we do that? Well, it's a little bit of an art more than science, but there are some tools that we can use to figure this out. And I'm going to kind of walk you through this real quick. So the first thing you want to do is download this free extension in Google Chrome. It's called the Moz bar. So if you were to just Google Moz bar Chrome extension, you would get this, and you can just add it to your Google Chrome. The second thing I want you to do is go over to this. It's called the Moz Link Explorer. So if you were to just Google Moz Link Explorer, you would find this page. And what this does, I can explain it to you in a second. It kind of gives you, well, let's just do an example. So I did a couple examples before here. So let's use Michelle. Most of you guys are probably familiar with Michelle for making sense of sense. So I'm going to plug her URL into this Moz tool, right? And so all we're looking at here is this number. It's called domain authority. And so they're going to give you a definition here. So it predicts the ranking potential of this website, relative to other domains on the internet. So that definition is not helpful. What it's really telling you is that domain authority is basically how powerful the backlinks you have to your website. So Michelle has a lot of good links. I think she's been featured on Forbes and maybe CNN Money or some other big publications. Don't quote me on that. But I know that a lot of big websites have linked to Michelle's blog. She's gotten a lot of good press. And so her domain authority is just a reflection of that, of those backlinks. So basically the more backlinks that you have and the higher quality those backlinks are, that is what determines your domain authority. Now, 57 might not seem like a lot without any context, but I'm trying to think of another. Well, let's do Mr. Money Mustache. So this is another personal finance site. This guy has a lot of authority too, right? So his is actually a 68, which is really high. So his is higher than Michelle's. He has a lot of good backlinks. The point here is not necessarily how you rank compared to Michelle or how you rank to Mr. Money Mustache. The point is how you rank, or rather what your domain authority is compared to your competitors. So anyway, for this example, what you want to do is just plug your own domain in here. So let's see if so we're using Lauren here and Alex. So their domain authority is a 34, which is still pretty good in the blogging niche. So you just want to plug your own domain in here and just make a mental note of what your domain authority is, okay? So let's use an example that we're in the gardening niche, right? So we have a gardening blog and we're trying to rank for a keyword. It's Java fern care. So this actually gets, not great search volume, but almost 500 people a month are searching for this keyword. And let's pretend that Lauren's site is actually a gardening site. Just pretend for this example so we can use this. So Lauren has a gardening site and her domain authority is a 34. In other words, the quality of the backlinks and the amount of backlinks that she has, Moz has determined that her authority is a 34. So what you want to do is simply Google the keyword that you want to rank for. So it's Java fern care. And we're just going to analyze the results in Google with that Moz bar turned on. So remember, I'll go back to it. The first step was you're going to, in the Google Chrome extension, you want to install this Moz bar so that when we Google our keyword, right? So the Moz bar extension, I think, is up here. And I'm going to click it. It's going to turn on. You do have to create a free account, but it is free. And what it's going to do, you got to give it a second to kind of load here after you turn it on. Come on. Sorry, this should load with the scores on. I should have tested this before. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Sorry. What the problem is it's not going to work for the featured snippet here, but it will work as we scroll down here. So what this is showing is that Moz is taking this domain authority number from here and they're showing it to us in the Google results, so we don't have to keep plugging these sites in one by one. So for this keyword, again, it's Java Fern Care, we can see the types of websites that are already ranking for this keyword. And so we can see this first site has a DA of 34, which is 10 points higher than ours. But we can see the number 2 site ranking for this keyword only has a DA of 17. And remember, we have a gardening blog and it's a DA of 34. What that means is that we have more authority in Google in terms of backlinks than this website does. And this website is ranking number 2 for this keyword. Let's go to the third result. So the third result has a DA or a domain authority of 30, which is also lower than ours. There's a 42 here, which is a little bit higher. And then as we go down, these are bigger numbers, but they're actually ranking lower. So what we can see is that the second and third results, right? So they're ranking number 2 and number 3 for this keyword, which is really good. Excuse me, but they have a lower domain authority than us, which is great news for us, because if we wanted to create a piece of content around Java Fern Care, that means that we should have a decent chance of ranking pretty high. It's not a guarantee, but it's a good gauge. It's a good way to estimate your competition, is to use this Moz bar and check what is the domain authority of your other competitors that are ranking. And that should give you an idea of how competitive the keyword is. On the other hand, let's pretend we Googled this keyword and these domain authority scores were all in the 70s, right? The 60s and the 70s and the 80s, which is much higher than our 34. If we saw that, we would kind of have to pause and be like, these domain authority scores are so much higher than ours, we probably don't have a chance to outrank them. And so that's what I mean by understanding your keyword competition. If all of the sites ranking on Google for the keyword that you want to go after have a domain authority that are a lot higher than yours, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's going to be really hard to outrank them. So you might want to think about going after another keyword. But this is a good exercise that you can go through for keywords that you want to target. You can install this Moz bar, Google search your keyword, and just see what the domain authorities are of the sites ranking in the top 5 or the top 10. Excuse me, and see how they compare to yours. All right, so the last tip that I want to do is I'm going to go to this tool that I use to find long tail keywords or related keywords, or even just common questions and other phrases that your audience is asking about your topic. So I like to use another example just to mix it up. Let's pretend that we have a health blog, and maybe we want to write a post about lemon water, right? Or maybe the benefits of lemon water. So if you're kind of health conscious, you know that lemon water, I'm not going to say it's a big topic, but a lot of people write about it. A lot of people talk about it. So there is this really cool tool, and this guy is a little creepy on the front page, but it's called answerthepublic.com. And so what it does is that if you enter a keyword like lemon water and just hit get questions, it's going to return a bunch of data here. Just give it a second to load. All right, so it's showing these results for lemon water, and I like to click the data tab, and it's going to show you all of these questions and kind of related keywords that you could potentially use either in your blog post about lemon water or even in a separate blog post. So maybe you were doing a post about the benefits of lemon water, and look, this tool is showing us all of these related keywords. So you might have a separate section in your post that says, is lemon water good for your liver? And 100 people are searching for that per month. And you could answer this question with maybe 100 words, right? And just add it to your blog post. Can lemon water lower blood sugar? That could be another paragraph or another heading in your blog post. So I do like to use this tool. It can give you a lot of really good related keywords, again, that you can use in the blog post itself, or maybe you can find a keyword or an idea here that you can create an entirely new piece of content around that. So yeah, tons of new blog post ideas and long tail keywords that you can find. Excuse me. The tool, again, is called Answer the Public. It's a really good free keyword research tool that you can find all of these good related keywords. So that's kind of my presentation for today. And really, this presentation has just scratched the surface when it comes to SEO. There's a lot to learn about SEO. It can be confusing. It can be confusing doing it on your own. So I have created this course that kind of walks you through step by step how to use SEO and how to kind of 10x or really increase your Google traffic to your blog. And the way that I designed this course is just to make it easier for bloggers and bring simple SEO to the blogging world so that your average blogger can understand SEO and really use it to your advantage. It does contain 50 video lessons with 10 hours of content over the shoulder, me and my web browser kind of showing you how to do everything. So some of the things you'll learn is how to set your blog up for SEO success, how to do proper keyword research, how to create your content and optimize that content so that it ranks in Google, and also how to build those backlinks so you can increase your domain authority like we talked about. And then finally, you can finally understand SEO, in plain English, increase your Google rankings, increase your organic traffic, and ultimately make more money with your blog. So that's all I have for you guys today. I really hope that you enjoyed this bonus lesson about SEO. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me. You can email me. You can go to my blog. It's called stupideasyseo.com. You can find my email address on there. Any questions, feel free to shoot it over. All right, guys. Thank you.